Those who have harmed you in the past are now feeling the repercussions of their own actions, watching helplessly as their well-constructed facades disintegrate around them. The universe has finally brought the balances back into balance. Despite the fact that justice does not always arrive when it is expected, it does arrive in a timely manner that cannot be denied. Infuriating them is not only the fact that they have to deal with the consequences of their decisions. Rather, it is the fact that you are utterly disconnected from the drama while they are drowning in the consequences of their own actions. Your happiness is no longer contingent on their approval or dependent on their presence, since you have recreated your life without them being a part of it. They sown the seeds of anarchy, betrayal, and suffering, and now they are beginning to harvest that bitter crop. Meanwhile, you planted yourself in fertile new ground, and you are blossoming in ways that they could not have predicted. It is not their demise that is the best form of justice. Rather, it is your serene grin as you walk away, fully unaffected by the storms that they continue to navigate. Despite the fact that freedom was never a part of their plan for you, they are upset with you because you are free. Justice does not wait for permission. Rather, it arrives on its own time, unequivocally, without any hesitation and without exception. Those individuals who were once able to move stealthily and manipulate others are now finding themselves trapped in the very web that they were responsible for having created. The universe has made its voice heard, and the scales are at last beginning to level off. There was a period when they were unrestricted in their movements, certain that their activities would not have any repercussions. They were dishonest, they lied, they attempted to exert power and destroy, but every action they took was being recorded in the realm that was not visible. And now, the amount that they owed has finally been paid. They are enjoying the fruits of their labor, and there is no way out of this situation. In other words, their demise is not the consequence of a coincidence or poor luck. Rather, it is divine justice that is unfolding before them, a meticulously designed chain of events that was set in motion the minute that they chose dishonor above integrity. The fact that they left you broken, abandoned, and questioning your worth gave them the impression that they had triumphed, but in reality, they had just sealed their own fate. It is not necessary for you to seek retribution, since justice will take care of them for you. The very same hands that used to grab for you in an attempt to manipulate you are now grasping at nothing but air, frantically trying to recover control. The very energy that they poured into causing you damage is now coming back to haunt them in ways that they completely did not anticipate, such as abrupt financial losses, betrayals by others they trusted, and legal problems from which they are unable to escape. These are not a series of random occurrences. Rather, they are the consequences of their own deeds in the past coming back to haunt them. They are currently being submerged in the storm that they were responsible for starting. It is true that justice does not always arrive when you want it, but it does come when it is supposed to, and the energy of karmic justice is at its peak right now, at this precise now. Things that were carried out in the shadows are now being brought to light. Those who roamed around without fear of repercussions, under the mistaken impression that they were exempt from the laws of the universe, are now being told how incorrect they were. They hoped that they could change the course of history, absolve themselves of their wrongdoing, and carry on as if nothing had occurred. Nevertheless, justice does not forget. Every single attempt to shatter your spirit, every single manipulation, and every single act of deceit, each and every one of these things has a price, and now they are paying it in full. There is a possibility that you have already heard rumors of their demise. Those individuals who conspired against you and took pleasure in your misery are now confronted with their own personal consequences. Some people are witnessing the disintegration of their relationships, businesses, and reputations right in front of their eyes as they are losing everything they have worked so hard to achieve. Their actual nature is exposed for all to see as the lies upon which they built their lives crumble, and there is no one left to protect them from the truth. Others are facing public exposure. Their true nature is disclosed for everyone to see. The most poetic part is that their attempts to exert control over you have been unsuccessful. Because they spent so much time attempting to keep you under control, they were completely unaware that they were burying themselves in the effort to do so. Now, as they face the storm that they have created for themselves, all they can do is watch as you rise, unaffected, unbothered, and utterly free. They anticipated that you would remain shattered, that you would be resentful, and that you would spend your days wallowing in the resentment that they caused for you. You, on the other hand, have healed, you have let go, and you have moved forward without them. And this is the thing that drives them nuts more than anything else. You were supposed to feel defeated. You were supposed to chase their validation. You were supposed to desire their presence, and you were supposed to crave their acceptance. They watch in disbelief how you have failed. You, on the other hand, vanished entirely from their reality, allowing them to continue to live in the catastrophe that they had created. Your contentment reveals their inability to cope, and your tranquility draws attention to the disorder that they are experiencing. During the time that they are falling, you are thriving. During the time that they are falling, you are gaining the exact things that they attempted to take away from you, which are now abundantly available to you. They have lost their authority, and the control they formerly had over your feelings, your choices, and your destiny is no longer in their possession. There is nothing that you owe them, not even a chat, not an explanation, and not even a single ounce of your energy. This was not a part of their strategy. While they were counting on you, they were never aware of how valuable you were. They were counting on your forgiveness, which would have meant giving them another opportunity to influence you. But you learned, you went ahead and closed the door, and you refused to participate in their game. At this moment, they are frantically trying to gain an understanding of how you managed to escape their grasp. They observe the action from the sidelines, resentful and preoccupied. There is a feeling that every victory you gain is a personal attack on them, and every smile you wear is a reminder that they have been defeated. Some of them hide behind phony profiles, reading through your life with hate burning in their chests. Others try to be indifferent, but their jealousy seeps through in every forced conversation and every passive-aggressive remark. They lurk, they stalk, and they mutter. Some of them hide behind fake profiles. Because they are unable to reach you, they are unable to shake you, and they are unable to touch you, they are angry. The absence of their presence is immaterial, and their words have no weight. You are not concerned about their failure to succeed. By breaking the cycle, rewriting your story, and reclaiming every aspect of yourself, you have accomplished a lot. There is a lot of power in your silence, and the most powerful answer is your success. They were underestimating you, and now they have to find a way to live with it. While they were conversing, plotting, and smiling in your face, while sharpening their knives behind your back, they was under the impression that they were secure in the shadows. However, the mask is beginning to fall off. Individually, they are being exposed. Those individuals who seemed as though they were on your side, those individuals who cheered for you in public but cursed you behind your back in private. They are no longer able to conceal their lie. Their actual character is now shown in its entirety. In the beginning, it was subtle, small slips, nervous glances, and forced smiles that didn't quite reach their eyes. But suddenly, the truth came crashing down. Talks you were never supposed to hear, deeds they can't explain, and falsehoods unraveling with every breath they take. They were never on your side, and neither of them ever wanted you to come out on top. The reason they stood so near to you was not to encourage you, but rather to observe you, to discover your shortcomings, and to undermine you without you ever being aware of it. However, they were unsuccessful. Currently, they are in a state of panic because their carefully crafted narrative do not make sense, and their alliances are disintegrating. These individuals, whom they had previously exploited, are now recognizing them for who they truly are: exposed, vulnerable, and powerful. Others will play the victim and change the narrative in an attempt to escape the repercussions of their conduct, while others will deny all that has happened. The truth, however, speaks louder than their lies do. The tightness in their voice, the change in their manner, and the way in which they avoid your sight, knowing that they have been caught, are all indicators of their energy before they really say anything. They desired for you to have doubts about yourself, to question your intuition, and to question the wisdom of the warnings that your spirit was providing you with. However, you are now able to see things clearly. You are aware of the patterns, the manipulations, the subtle digs that are disguised as care, and the bogus praise that is intended to prevent you from taking responsibility for your own actions. It was their intention to make your light less bright, but instead, they exposed themselves. Now, they are confronted with the precise fate that they wanted upon you. The betrayals that they engineered are coming back to haunt them. The secrets that they guarded so carefully are slipping through their fingers, and people are talking about them. The reputation that they struggled so hard to defend is being shattered, and there is no longer any place for them to hide since the reports are spreading. They failed to recognize the significance of the reality. They were underestimating you, and now they have to find a way to live with it. With the intention of breaking you, they threw everything at you, including lies, treachery, and manipulation, in the hope that you would give in to the pressure of their deception. Despite the fact that you did not, you persevered and absorbed every blow, every setback, and every moment that was intended to break you. Despite the fact that you had every cause to fall, you stood. In spite of the fact that the storm was unrelenting and cruel, you ended up learning how to negotiate the waves rather than drowning. You transformed into the light, rather than being afraid of the darkness. They misinterpreted your generosity for a sign of weakness, and they failed to recognize your indomitable spirit. They believed that you would always be available, that you would always be there, and that I would always be an easy target. That was not the case. In order to restore your power, you made the decision to walk away from the chaos and choose yourself. There is no longer any significance to the things that used to provoke you. The individuals who used to exert control over your feelings are no longer present in your world. Their words are meaningless, and their presence is unimportant. You did something that they had never anticipated. You healed completely and profoundly. Releasing the past, cutting the cords, and burning the bridges that lead nowhere are all things that you have finished. This is your rebirth. It is a version of you that they are unable to access, a version of you that they did not anticipate it would be. An alteration has taken place in your energy. Your aura is indestructible, and your peace is unshakable. While they are stuck, you are thriving. While they are bitter, you are better. While they are clinging to the past, you are already in the future. They feel it, they see it, and they despise it because they understand that you are better than they are. You have triumphed against everything that was designed to bring you down. As a result, you have grown stronger. You were able to transform your suffering into power, and as a result, they were unable to cause you harm, access your spirit, or control your narrative. This is your independence. This is your freedom, and this is the justice that you deserve. All of the signals have been unmistakable. The message cannot be refuted. The voice of Spirit has spoken, revealing what was concealed and confirming what you already knew. You are no longer burdened by the past. Your concentration is razor sharp, and your vitality has been restored. It is a power that others are unable to fathom that propels you onward. Although they attempted to drain you, you are more alive than you have ever been. They intended for you to be disoriented, uncertain, and questioning your own abilities. Instead, your way forward is more transparent than it has ever been. You have re-established your alignment with your genuine mission. There are no longer any unnecessary detours or distractions. You are just where you are supposed to be. The loneliness that you previously dreaded has turned into your safe haven, and calm is yours to enjoy. You, your intuition, and the peaceful strength that guides you ahead are the only things that remain. There is no longer any anarchy or interference. There has been a shift in the energy. The previous cycles have been closed. The doors that had previously held you captive have been shut. Those who have worked against you are aware of it. They perceive your disconnection. They are aware that their influence has been removed. They are looking for answers with all their might, looking for loopholes and hoping that there is a way to get back in. But there is none. Because of the intervention of divine forces, they have been removed by Spirit. Once again, justice has been done. Each and every attempt to re-establish a connection, to exert influence, and to maneuver their way back into your life has been unsuccessful. All of the blessings that are going to come your way are safeguarded, and the tranquility that you have created is indestructible. Intuition has brought you to this location. You have reached a point where you are in alignment, you are in control, and you are unstoppable. The whispers that you once ignored are now ringing loud and clear. They were erroneous in their assumptions that you would always look back on them and that you would require their assistance. They have no choice but to accept that. You were aware of the situation even before you had evidence, before the lies were exposed, and before the masks were removed. A voice within you whispered that something was not quite right. Your spirit was the first to feel it. The tension in the air, the awkward quiet, and the forced smiles that never quite reached their eyes were all signs of it. One could not adequately express the significance of each and every interaction. You were informed that it was all in your head, that you were being overly cautious, and that you were being paranoid. Yet, your intuition is never an illusion. It delivered warning after warning, including the missed calls, the texts that went unopened, the way that their energy altered when you entered the room, and the gut feeling that told you that they were not who they professed to be. It was Spirit that was communicating, leading, and protecting. Sometimes divine involvement takes the form of a delay, a disturbance, or an abrupt termination that does not make sense at the moment. God's intervention does not always take the form of a miracle. It was not a punishment, that the doors banged shut. Rather, it was a godsend that they did so. There was no abandonment of you. Rather, you were guided. Should you have remained, you would have been ensnared, bound by manipulation, and stuck in a loop of deception and control. On the other hand, you were destined for something more. Things got more evident as you continued to listen, and the truth began to emerge piece by piece as you continued to listen. It became impossible to deny the signs. You were unable to turn away from what was being presented to you. They made an effort to make you feel confused and to prevent you from trusting yourself. Their weapon of choice was gaslighting, which consisted of twisting language, rewriting history, and making you question what you already knew to be true. Spirit, on the other hand, does not permit lies to endure eternally. Each one of the illusions was shattered, and the betrayal was brought to light one by one. The individuals in whom you had previously placed your trust exposed themselves without even being aware of it. Their own behaviors told the story. I will no longer be confused. I will no longer second-guess myself, and I will no longer ignore the truth because it hurts too much to confront it. You have a clear vision now. You don't question your feelings. You move in a different manner as a result of it. You were guided out of the darkness by spiritual guidance, which also provided you with the strength to walk away and demonstrated to you that tranquility is more valuable than ties that are forced upon you. It was never intended for the people who had access to you in the past to remain in your life. They were meant to be lessons, catalysts for growth, brief chapters, and not as long-lasting relationships. Your intuition will become more powerful as you increase the amount of trust you have in yourself, and the more you let go of things. They believed they could make you blind for the rest of your life. They were mistaken in their assumption that you would never ever wake up. They have no choice but to accept that. You stopped looking for closure from people who only knew how to shatter things. You stopped repeating conversations, and you stopped looking for explanations that did not exist. You stopped waiting for apologies that would never come. Letting go was not a sign of weakness. Rather, it was a sign of power. This meant opting for tranquility over disorder, independence over attachment, and development over stagnation. They had the misconception that you would remain available at all times, that you would always be available, and that you would always keep the door open in case they were mistaken. Rather of simply shutting the door, you completely removed it from the room. There is no way to go back. There are no opportunities to alter the past, and there are no second chances. In the beginning, they laughed because they were confident that you would come back, that you would miss them, and that you would break. They were not prepared for your absence. They were not prepared for a world in which they no longer had access to you. They were not prepared to watch you walk on as if they had never existed. The silence continued to grow, the distance increased, and the realization dawned. They were not prepared for your physical absence. Losing control was not an act of vengeance. It was not a game. Rather, it was a matter of survival. You had no choice but to do it, since it was the only way to restore yourself. They deprived you of your kindness, your loyalty, and your love over such a long period of time, and they emptied you of your resources. They erroneously believed that your forbearance was consent. Then something changed. Something clicked. One morning you awoke and knew that you had reached your limit. I am finished explaining, I am finished waiting, and I am finished believing in possibilities that will never come to fruition. They sensed it, even before you said a word. They felt it. The energy changed. The grasp they once had was gone. The power they once had was shattered. They felt it. Because this time, you weren't just walking away. You were rising above, elevating, and stepping into a version of yourself that they never wanted to see. They tried to bait you, to trigger a reaction, and to drag you back into their web. However, it was unsuccessful because you weren't just walking away. The act of letting go did not signify defeat. Rather, it meant victory. Your time, your joy, and your clarity will all be returned to you. They are unable to comprehend how you were able to accomplish this, how you were able to so quickly delete them, and how you moved forward without looking back. When they are preoccupied with the past, it follows them around. You are the one who is shaping your future. During the time when they are waiting for a return that will never arrive, you are doing something completely different. From a distance, they watch, hoping that you will fall, hoping that you will stumble, and expecting that you would require their assistance once more, but you won't. The attachment is cut, the lesson is learned, and the path is cleared way for the next step. The absence of their presence is a blessing, and their name does not carry any power. Their presence does not evoke any feelings. Giving up did not destroy you. Rather, it strengthened you. They have no choice but to accept that. You are not the only one who benefited from your healing. It generated shockwaves and altered everything. People witnessed your ascent, witnessed your transformation, and witnessed your ascent to an untouchable status. They never anticipated that you would be able to break the cycle, to escape the patterns, and to rewrite the story. Some were inspired, some were threatened, and some were outraged over your actions. Your strength compelled them to confront their own shortcomings, and your tranquility revealed the chaos that was going on inside of them. Some people attempted to follow your route, while others attempted to draw you back, but neither did they succeed. You became the proof that they want to avoid seeing. Proof that healing is possible, proof that freedom is attainable, and proof that they had no justifications for their actions. Your success is offensive to those who choose to remain stagnant, and your light is blinding to those who refuse to cultivate their potential. There are a few people who murmur about you, some with adoration, others with resentment, and some with sorrow. Despite the fact that they wish they had treated you better, wanted they had believed in you, and wished they still had access, they do not. Through your healing, the game was altered. Because of you, they now have to learn to live with the consequences. The balance has been restored, justice has been carried out, and peace is now yours to enjoy. May each and every wound be healed. May each scar be transformed into wisdom, and may each and every betrayal be transformed into force. There will be no success for any weapon that has been crafted against you. No adversary will rise up against your destiny, and no darkness will be able to dim your brightness. They are unable to reach you because you are divinely protected, covered, guided, and elevated. Permit the flow of abundance. Allow love to find you, and allow success to pursue you. Your route may be unobstructed, your energy may be holy, and your spirit may remain unshaken. Keep the past where it belongs, and allow the future to unfold in a way that is favorable to you. Your name is blessed, your trip is blessed, and the next chapter of your life is unstoppable. Therefore, you should not let anything pull you backward. They have no choice but to accept that.